Hello and welcome to Grammar Aid, First Aid for Your Words. This video is part 3 in a 3-part series on pronoun case. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch parts 1 and 2, I recommend you do so first, as we'll be building on topics that we discussed in those videos. Let's begin by reviewing the rule that we've learned so far. Pronouns like I and who are known as nominative or subjective pronouns. We use them as subjects, or to rename the subject. Pronouns like me and whom are known as objective pronouns. We use them as objects. And just as a reminder, the subject performs the action of the verb, and the object receives the action of the verb. Now, in this video, we're going to be focusing on this specific part of the rule, that nominative pronouns rename the subject of a sentence. Let's look in on a conversation between Andrea and Tony. Andrea says, "Another muddy mess in the living room. It's time to get rid of this dog." To which Tony replies, "The one to blame for this mess is me, not the dog." Now we're going to focus on the first part of Tony's response. The one to blame for this mess is me. Now at first glance, this sentence looks correct based on everything that we've said so far. However, this sentence is substantially different from the other sentences that we've looked at, and primarily the difference is in the verb, is. Now, most of the sentences we've seen so far have used action verbs, and they've had subjects that transmitted the action of the verb to an object. This is different. Is a special kind of verb called a linking verb. Its job in this sentence is to link the subject, one, with another part of the predicate, me. Now, specifically, what this verb does is it helps to provide a specific identification for the subject. It identifies the one to blame as me. Now, because of that, because it renames the subject of the sentence, we need to use the nominative or the subjective case, I. The one to blame for this mess is I. Now let me just note that in spoken American English, most users completely ignore this rule. Very few people actually speak this way. However, in formal writing, it's very important to know the distinction. Now let's take a look at another scenario. Tony gets along with the dog much better than me. So is this sentence correct or not? The answer is yes, it is. And no, it isn't. In all actuality, it depends on what the writer is trying to say. Focus on this part of the sentence, much better than me. Now this is known as an elliptical construction. And just so you know, that word elliptical means that something is missing, something has been left out. Whether this sentence is correct or incorrect depends very much on what the writer has left out. It could be that the writer is saying that Tony gets along with the dog much better than he gets along with me. In that case, it's correct. Me is the object of the preposition with. However, it could also be that the writer is trying to say that Tony gets along with the dog much better than me do. Now, when we fill in the missing information, hopefully we can clearly see that the me is incorrect. Because it's the subject of a clause, we need to use the subjective case, I. Tony gets along with the dog much better than I. Thank you for watching. These 3 videos have covered a fairly wide area of topics, and hopefully they've helped to demystify the process of determining which pronoun to use. If so, then a like is appreciated. Also, if you'd like to see grammar tutorials on other topics, or if you need serious editing assistance, please visit my website at www.grammaraid.com.